You know these little black boxes, right? They're absolutely everywhere. We plug them in every single day, but have you ever really stopped to wonder how they actually work? I mean, what kind of electrical magic are they pulling off in there? Well, today we're going to crack one open, metaphorically of course, and uncover the secrets of the humble power adapter. So yeah, what is going on inside this thing? How does it take that raw, kind of chaotic power zapping out of your wall and somehow tame it into the perfect, steady stream of juice your phone needs to charge?
Well, the answer is this absolutely brilliant piece of engineering called a switched-mode power supply. And look, it's not actually magic, but honestly, it's pretty darn close. It's a super clever circuit that was designed to solve one very, very specific problem.
Okay, so what's that problem?
Well, it's this fundamental clash between two totally different electrical worlds. See, the power humming in your walls it's a completely different beast from the kind of power your delicate devices need. Here's what I mean. Your wall socket, it's giving you something called alternating current, or AC for short. And that means the voltage is constantly swinging back and forth, positive, negative, about 60 times every single second. But our gadgets, our phones, our laptops, they can't handle that. They need a nice, smooth, one-way street of power. We call that direct current, or DC. So the whole job of your charger is to be the perfect translator between these two completely different languages.
And to pull off this amazing translation, the charger leans on one of the most fundamental, kind of mind-blowing principles in all of physics, and that is the deep, invisible dance between electricity and magnetism.
Okay, so here's how it works. Stick with me. First, when you run an electric current through a coil of wire, it creates a magnetic field all around it. Simple enough, right? Second, if you put another coil of wire close by, they're not even touching, that magnetic field can reach out and affect it. But here's the third and most important part. This is the real secret sauce. That magnetic field has to be changing, has to be growing or shrinking. If it's changing, it will, like magic, create a whole new electrical current in that second coil.
I cannot stress this enough. A steady, static magnetic field, it does absolutely nothing. Zero. The magic only, and I mean only, happens when there's change. You absolutely need that constantly changing field to push energy from one coil to the other. Burn that into your brain, because it's the key to this entire puzzle. All right, so the component that actually puts this whole principle into practice, that's the star of our show. It's the heart and soul of the charger, the chopper transformer. And this thing is just a modern marvel of size and efficiency. You know those big, heavy, clunky transformers from back in the day? They used the natural back-and-forth swing of AC power to get that changing magnetic field. But our little chopper transformer? Oh, it's way smarter. It takes DC power and chops it up, turning it on and off thousands upon thousands of times per second. This creates high-frequency pulses that do the exact same job. And that little trick is the reason our chargers are so small and don't get super hot. Okay, that's the big idea. But how do we get from that messy AC power from the wall to the point where we can feed it to our fancy chopper transformer? Well, let's follow the path of the electricity, step by step, right through the circuit. So the second that power comes in from the wall, the very first thing it hits is the input filter. Just think of it like a bouncer at a really exclusive club. Its only job is to stop all the electrical noise and junk from the power line from getting in. It makes sure only the pure, clean AC signal gets past the velvet rope. Okay, once we have that clean signal, we hit the next stage, the bridge rectifier. Now this is a really clever little setup of 4 things called diodes. You can think of them as electronic one-way streets, and its whole job is to take that two-way AC traffic and force it all to flow in just one direction. So when the AC wave is in its positive swing, the current flows down a very specific path, through 2 of those diodes. The other 2, they just act like roadblocks. But here's where it gets really cool. When the AC wave flips and goes negative, the current tries to flow backwards. But the rectifier is too smart for that. It reroutes the flow through the other pair of diodes, and in doing so, it actually flips that whole negative part of the wave so it's pointing up. And what you end up with is this. We've done it. We don't have alternating current anymore. It's all positive now, all moving in the same direction. But look at it. It's not smooth at all. It's this lumpy, bumpy, pulsating DC. So yeah, we're not quite there yet. So to smooth out that bumpy ride, the electricity flows into a big capacitor. The best way to think about a capacitor is like a small water tower or a reservoir. It charges up and stores energy when the voltage is high at the peaks, and then it releases that energy back into the circuit when the voltage drops into the valleys. And the result? Bam! That ripple just flattens right out, and we're left with a nice, smooth, stable, high-voltage DC.
All right, we've got our smooth DC. Now we are ready for the main event. This is the heart of the whole operation. It's time to start chopping.
So, there's a special control chip working with a component called a transistor, and together they act as a switch that is just impossibly fast. They take that smooth DC we just made, and they chop it into pieces, turning it on and off tens of thousands of times every second. This creates that high-frequency pulse DC, which is exactly what our chopper transformer needs to make that all-important changing magnetic field we talked about.
But wait a minute. How does it know exactly how fast to switch? That's where the feedback loop comes in. It's brilliant. There's this tiny little part called an optocoupler, and its whole job is to constantly watch the final output voltage. Then, it uses a tiny beam of light to send a signal, safely with no electrical connection, all the way back to the control chip. It's basically saying, hey, speed up a little, or whoa, slow down a bit, to keep that output voltage perfectly stable.
So there you have it. We've just walked through the entire process, the whole logical flow. Now, let's try to connect that nice, clean theory to what it looks like in the messy real world.
Okay, so here's the clean version, the schematic. You can see the whole journey laid out perfectly. Power comes in on the left, it gets filtered, then rectified, smoothed out, chopped up by the switch, and then sent out on the right. It's a beautiful, logical path.
And here's reality. It's a packed little city of components, all crammed onto one tiny circuit board. But now, hopefully, it's not just a jumble of parts anymore. You can actually start to pick out the key players. Look, there's that big capacitor for smoothing things out. There's our star, the chopper transformer. And tucked away over there is that tiny optocoupler, doing its crucial feedback job.
See? It's not a mystery box anymore. You actually understand the journey now. You followed the path that electricity takes, from your wall, through that intricate little maze, all the way to your phone.
So, you've just learned the secret behind modern power. But think about this. The entire thing, this whole elegant solution, depends on something you can't even see. Those invisible magnetic fields pulsing away thousands of times a second. It kind of makes you wonder, right? What other invisible forces are out there, quietly making our world work?